Story title: Billionaire CEO comes home early, and can't believe what the single dad is doing. Wait, pause for just a second. The narrator's voice begins softly, almost like a whisper that pulls you closer. Imagine coming home early, and finding a stranger teaching your son something that money could never buy. That's exactly what happened to Daniel Cross, the billionaire CEO everyone admired but secretly pitied. For years, Daniel built an empire that stretched across continents. He owned skyscrapers, fleets of cars, even his own jet, but his mansion, as vast as it was, felt hollow. Since his wife passed away, he'd buried himself in work, convincing himself it was for his son, Ethan. But in reality, Ethan barely saw him anymore. The boy's laughter had turned into polite nods, his spark dimmed behind screens and tutors who came and went like shadows. One chilly evening, Daniel's board meeting in Singapore got cancelled last minute. For the first time in years, he decided to come home early. No calls, no driver, no assistant, just him, driving through the rain with a strange ache in his chest. He wanted to surprise his son. But when he stepped into the marble hallway, he froze. Music was playing, not classical or electronic, the kind of cheerful, homemade tune you only hear when someone's heart is in it. Following the sound, Daniel stopped at the doorway of his massive backyard, and couldn't believe what he was seeing. Ethan was laughing, really laughing. His small hands were covered in mud. And right beside him was a man Daniel had never seen before, wearing worn-out jeans, a hoodie, and holding a wooden birdhouse that looked hand-carved. The stranger wasn't a gardener, nor a tutor. He was teaching Ethan how to paint the birdhouse, showing him how to hold the brush gently, like it was something precious. "Who are you?" Daniel demanded, his voice sharp, protective. The man turned, startled but calm. "Oh, sir, I'm sorry, I didn't know you were home. I'm Noah. I just help out here sometimes." Daniel frowned. Help out? Doing what, exactly? Ethan ran over before Noah could speak. "Dad, this is Mr. Noah. He helps Mrs. Jenkins with the garden, and he's been teaching me how to build things. Look." He held up the half-painted birdhouse with pride. Daniel blinked. "You built that?" Ethan nodded eagerly. He said, "It's not about being perfect, it's about caring enough to finish something with your own hands." Something about those words struck Daniel harder than he expected. Noah smiled humbly. "Your boy's got good hands. He listens. Not many kids do that anymore." Daniel wasn't sure how to respond. He hadn't heard anyone compliment his son like that in years. Most people praised Ethan's grades or manners, but never his heart. As the days passed, Daniel couldn't shake his curiosity. He found himself watching from the window whenever Noah was around, helping Ethan plant seeds, fix the fence, or just talk about things that didn't involve gadgets or grades. It bothered Daniel at first. Who was this man? Why did his son trust him so much? Then one afternoon, Daniel asked his head housekeeper about him. She smiled sadly. "Knows a single dad, sir. His little girl, Lily, used to come here sometimes too. But she's been sick lately. He takes whatever small jobs he can, just to pay for her medicine." That night, Daniel couldn't sleep. He kept thinking about how Noah, a man who had so little, could give his son something that he, with all his wealth, never could: time, patience, warmth. The next morning, Daniel went down early. Noah was there again, fixing the broken swing. "Mind if I help?" Daniel asked awkwardly. Noah looked surprised but smiled. "Sure, you know how to handle a wrench." Daniel chuckled. "I can learn." And that's how it started. Two fathers, side by side. One rich in money, the other rich in spirit. Over time, they talked, not about business, but about fatherhood, mistakes, regrets. Daniel learned Noah's story, how he lost his wife to cancer, how Lily's condition made it hard to work full-time, how he just wanted his daughter to feel safe. Weeks passed. Ethan's eyes began to shine again. He and Lily became inseparable. The mansion, once silent, now echoed with laughter and music. Then one evening, tragedy struck. Noah didn't show up. Hours later, Daniel learned that Lily had collapsed. She needed an urgent operation, something far beyond what Noah could afford. Without hesitation, Daniel drove to the hospital. He found Noah in the hallway, his hands trembling, eyes red. "Don't say a word," Daniel said quietly, placing a signed check in his hand. "Take care of your daughter. That's not charity. That's what family does." Noah broke down, unable to speak. Months later, Lily recovered. She and her father moved into a small house nearby, but Daniel insisted they visit every weekend. Ethan had built a new birdhouse for their garden, engraved with a small wooden plate that said, "Family isn't who shares your blood. It's who builds your world beside you." Years later, Daniel would say that coming home early that night was the best decision of his life. Not because he found someone fixing his garden, but because he found the missing piece of his heart. The final shot fades with Ethan, Noah, and Lily releasing birds into the sky as Daniel watches, smiling with tears in his eyes. And the narrator's voice returns, gentle but powerful. Sometimes, life doesn't need more riches, it needs more returning home early. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Because kindness, love, and time, those are the real treasures worth spreading.